All right, value and tone. This is for the Sketchy Travels Substack. And we're going to start with value. And I'm using purple because it is a color in, oh, here we go. It is a color in my palette that I don't use often. So I figured, I have a reason to use it. So I also like purple. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking up as much pigment as I can and putting it in here without getting my paintbrush too wet. Because with watercolor, getting value is not about adding white or black. It's about the paper being white, and that's how we add the white, and adding black. Adding black means you're shading it. Shading is a technique for value. So here we start. Nice dark pigment. Now I'm going to add some water and pull some of this out. And then we get it a little bit lighter. Get some more water. Pull out more. And, you know, technically I could just go pull water out and do it this way too. See, it's getting lighter. I just am always afraid I'm going to run out of pigment. So that's awfully wet. Yeah, it's awfully wet. Another way, so to darken your value, I am actually going to add some black. Actually, this is some black. I'm putting it to the side here because I just want a touch of black. So drying off the paintbrush because I don't want too much black and it can easily go too much. Oh, I should have pulled out some of this purple so I don't get it too much in that. And there we go. I feel like it could be darker. Well, I guess it gets darker as more you add to it. That's what I should be thinking. And you can see it is darker. So, ooh, that's a lot of black. What was I thinking? Okay, here we go. See? Let me get some purple. It's a delicate balance mixing. There we go. I lightened it by adding more purple, but you get the gist. See, lighter, darker. Now, in my palette, I actually have some white. This is rare. I'm getting some right there. So I'm gonna clean my brush and pull up some white. I can't recall ever seeing white anywhere else. It does work. I often use it as a top glaze. So you can see it lighten up already. And I'm going to put it right above it. So you can see it's this mid-tone color. It's quite nice. I really like the white watercolor, and I never, like I said, I've never seen it in any before, not even in the tubes, and yet I think they should have it because I think that is I want to say a more solid color than, say, this, watering it down, but that's me. All right, now let's go to tone. Tone, the difference is you're adding gray. Again, with watercolor, you don't often see white. So I'm going to show you how you typically get that saturated look and how to mute it and how to add more vibrancy. So we'll start by getting this nice dark, you know, the color you get from the watercolor. It's like that one. See, this is drying, that's why it's getting a little lighter. So I'm also gonna put to the side to get more vibrancy from it, but we have to let it dry first. What we're gonna do is glaze it or layer it basically. So this will dry, then we'll put another layer of pigment on it. So I did a video on this, you can go check it out. It goes into it more deeply and how you can see how it gives dimension to your paintings in watercolor. So now with that, we want to mute it. And you would usually add gray. Instead of get it lighter, we're going to mute it. So in order to mute it in watercolor, what some people do is you take the opposite of on the color wheel. You can see this color wheel is well used. I never take it out of this plastic because I paint on it. I don't know how. I don't remember. So the opposite of purple is yellow, and it brings it closer to this muddy. Anytime you mix color, you're going to cause a muddying, but the opposite color causes a muddying more. So I'm going to add yellow, which is a color I often use. I'm going to take this yellow and put it to the side. That's good. And ooh, it's invading. All right, I'm just mixing the two. You can see on the palette, it's already becoming a muted. See how it's more muted than it's a brightness thing? It's just it doesn't have the vibrancy. It's the best way to describe it. It doesn't pop. This still kind of pops, even though it's light. This really pops, but that's what tone does, is tone it down. I don't want you to be loud, or I want this to be loud. Is this dry yet? It doesn't look it. So another way you can mute it with my palette, so let me put this in pigment, is I actually have the white, as I said before. So let me do that, show you that. So grab some black here. I'm trying to get it on camera. Black here. And then let's grab some white. And mix it in. I'm mixing it right in. See how it has a nice gray. See, the white is there. Oftentimes I'll put the white on and I'm like, is it on? But I often, like I said, I often use it as a top glazing color. Ooh, whoops. Oh, shit. I wanted a light gray. I don't want to mute it down too much. Okay. So now I have this gray, and you can see it's changing the purpleness. And let's put that on. I'm just going to put it here. See, it did mute it down. It still retains more of a purpleness than this did. Let me put some more gray in. I know I shouldn't rub back and forth. I get in trouble for that often, but it's what I first learned in oils, and I forget. Don't do that, Joanne. Yep. See, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah. So that's muted. I like this to this. Now, I think this has dried some. Yep. So I'm going to get another layer of that. Nice, vibrant, because it's the pigment right off the palette. So it's more vibrant. And I'm going to put it on here. See, it's popping more than this. And yet like this doesn't pop because you're making it darker in the shadows. So, yeah. Pop. And that's where vibrancy. So I would put another layer on. I gotta wait for it to dry. Some people put, some people put a blow dryer to it. But I don't often have a blow dryer when traveling. I guess in the hotel room you do, but not here. I'll put one more layer on it. I'm going to give it a chance to dry on its own. I'll put one more layer on it so you can really see the difference. But that is value and tone, and I'm hoping you can see the difference. Now, if you go to my premium level Substack, we'll look at pieces of art that shows the difference in value and tone. So, yep, check me out at sketchytravels.substack.com. Okay, I don't see a glossy sheen on it. Yeah, it feels dry. And this looks dry too, so I'm gonna pick up some, make sure I get the right color. It's been about 10 minutes, that's how long it took. It depends how much water you have and all that. And I'm gonna put one more layer on to make it nice and vibrant. Ooh, look how dark that is, but it's not muted dark, it's a hello dark color, dark purple. So hello there. So that's how you get value and tone from watercolor. And if you can find white pigment in watercolor, I'd suggest it. A lot of people use, what is it called? Gouache for their white pigment. Sure. Well, you got to be careful with gouache. It is an opaque color. However, once you use the gouache and you put water in it, it acts, and it dries, it acts like a watercolor. So if you wanted it, you could do that, is water down a gouache paint and then save that paint and use that. The thing with that, though, I always hate using a mixture of different types of paints, but that might be my fetish. So a lot of people use gouache with watercolor. But just give us a watercolor paint like this company does, Sakura Koi watercolors. I bought this on sale at Michael's. No, they're not paying me. If they want to, you can ask me, because I really like Michael's. But anyway, Sakura color products. And it's the Koi set. And this is a nice set. And I could go over it another video, perhaps. I hope that helps. Let me know. I will take a picture of this and put it on my Substack so you can see it more clearly. I tossed it aside and it... But see how it's different from the original. Anyway, the intention of this video is to help you learn how to use color and how to get the color you want when you're painting anywhere. So, yeah, I hope that helped.